Good morning, lovelies. It is now cold. It's about -1 this morning, which is really unusual for London. It's really unusual in London to stay below freezing once the sun is up. It's a quick visit, ostensibly. Well, ostensibly I've come down to do a bit of harvesting. Some of the harvesting plans have changed because it is so cold. Anyway, I'll explain when we go out. But when I got here on the stoop of my shed, isn't that a bonny little paper bag? This, oh my goodness, I hope it defrosts okay. Quince jelly. It's frozen. This is from my lovely friend Karen, a couple of plots over. We were talking about this in the very, very late summer, maybe going into autumn. Was it? Yeah, I think it was, because maybe it was sort of September. I was down here like in a hurry trying to get brassicas in, and she was doing the same. And it was the day that I found out that she also sells vintage stuff. How have we never known that? We've known each other for ages. Anyway, so she mentioned it at the time. I saw her again briefly a couple of weeks ago, and she said, I've brought it. I keep bringing it, but you're not here. And I said, look, leave it outside my shed if you don't see me. Frozen quince jelly. His nibs is here. Rusty's having a little coddle and a purr. Rosie's just on the stoop, but it's definitely too chilly for sitting around today. So let's go. Let's keep moving. Actually, walking down here, I felt okay because of movement, and obviously I've got a ton of layers on, but it's not a day for sitting around. Goodness me. Actually, let me just show you back up this way in the gardens. This, so I started building my rotten queue, but this is a really unusual sight for London so early in the winter. Such a heavy frost that hasn't even gone. I think it's about 10 in the morning now. We wouldn't normally expect this until, towards the end of February maybe. When it's January and February tend to be colder for us. Anyway, yeah, it's sort of bonkers. Now, my garden does, I'm going to be a bit careful as I move. My garden does tend to get a bit more light. I mean, the light's here further up. It's not so, a lot of my frost has melted. Rusty, go back in the shed, you silly mare. Yeah, but sorry, I'm just sort of taking a moment to take it in because it is odd for us at this time of year. But anyway, let's see what's going on in the garden. All the poached eggplants that came up way too soon have flopped over. Now, a lot of the stuff you see today is pretty flopped over, but sorry, excuse me. But by the afternoon, they should all have perked up considerably. Oh, careful as you go. I mean, you can see my path is pretty icy. So I'm being very tentative with my steps. The tree lily has pretty much died. So now I'm at the stage where I can cut the stalks back. I just cut them back right down to sort of soil level, and that's all I do with the tree lily. Leave it, comes back year after year. Lovely. Now of course, you haven't seen it since. We're going to have long shadow issues today. All the brassica nets are off. And what was I saying at the end of that video? How it would be lovely to come to the garden and see all their green. It's sort of green tinged with white. So yeah, this is purple sprouting broccoli in here, and like I said, it's all looking, you can see it's very, very floppy, wilty, but yes, they should come back as the day warms up a bit and as the sun comes out. I think most days, according to the forecast, we're having frost pretty much every night for a week. And daytime temperatures aren't going to get much above freezing, but they are supposed to be above freezing. I mean, look Look at the Cavallo Nero. I don't know, some of you will have seen a photograph of them that I took 3 days ago. Was it, or 4 days ago? All standing proud and looking gorgeous. Very, very floppy. So I got on with that straw mulching, and I didn't quite have enough just on this last bit on this side. But otherwise, yeah, I managed to get this bed mostly mulched too, which I'm delighted about. I had mulched this bed when I planted, but all the mulch, it was the contents of the compost bin on both this bed and this bed, all gone. It's all gone already. You know what I love though? Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. Let's just take a moment to appreciate this beauty. Isn't that gorgeous? It's like, I don't know, it's like some kind of alien caterpillar, or like looking at anemones on the ocean bed. Beautiful. I'm always saying how I'm so fortunate and so glad that I can garden all year round. even if some of those days are pretty chilly. I hope these come back. They should come back. I don't know. It just depends how long this freezing goes on for. But again, look. It's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. That one in particular. Yeah. Even in winter, try to see and enjoy the beautiful stuff. Oh, I think after I've whizzed you around the garden, I think I'm going to have to quickly come back out with my stills camera, because these are so gorgeous. Yes, as one might expect, both the spinach and the chard are looking very wilty. Oh my goodness, my lettuces are still standing up. I've been really enjoying them. Oh, that's so funny. This isn't animal stuff where the holes are. That's where I've been having lettuces out. Yeah. Surely they can't survive the frosting. I think I might have a couple more out today. Oh, and look at these beauties. These are the... Oh, I just got to show you this as well. Look, he does find this spot in the sun. Let me put him in my shadow. He'll give me an angry glare. Yeah, he does find a spot here. I think where my neighbour's sort of fence/hedge is a bit sheltered. Digressing. Yeah, the dazzling blue kale, doing just what they say on the tin. They are dazzling. I haven't grown these before. These are new to me. This was seed that Paul gave me that he saved from his own plants. And I am loving how they look. Is it too bright to show you? But this beautiful, really deep purple ribbing. Oh, and they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous to scoff as well. I've had a few, and I'd had a few Cavallo Nero, but I think when they were really young, I didn't know, I hadn't spotted the difference. I was just scoffing them, but yeah, beautiful. And another gorgeous sight of the frosting. Oh, it's so pretty. You know what, I never tire of this sight. I never tire of the winter garden. I mean, look. Oh, they're so flopped. I tire of being cold. But every year, I just find it a joy to look at these gorgeous plants with their icy coat on in the morning. Beautiful. Right, so tons and tons of green stuff to eat. Absolutely tons of it. I will be fine for my green stuff. A little bit of my straw detritus, which I'll scoop up and put on a bed somewhere. Covered beds, not quite. Oh, that was a mass Can you see this was an absolute mass of nasturtium? Well and truly. Now, nasturtiums will not come back. Look, that's all the leaves all in a circle. It's like my frosty nasturtium wreath. I'd hang it on my door, except it would turn to mush. That's rather beautiful too, isn't it? It sort of almost doesn't look real, does it? Oh, nature, you are so beautiful. Yeah, dead as a dodo. Dead as dodos. Ah, now! Right, I resisted the temptation to look as I came in, but this next bed are those broad beans that were going far too quickly. Sorry, I'm being super careful with my tread today, and I'm also super stiff in this cold. Oh, the ones outside. To be honest, if it was just that one night last night and now we warmed back up, I'd say I think they'd make it, but if it's going to be night after night, I don't think they will. How are the ones inside looking? You can see how frosted it got last night, and obviously where the sun is coming from this direction, how it's melting the frost. I don't know how clear and easy it is to see in there, but it does look like all the leaves look perky rather than wilted. So fingers crossed that means so far so good with the combination of the netting and the straw. Oh, I hope so. I do hope so. I mean, it's interesting, you can't properly see through that one. I can see through the tunnels that the straw doesn't have any frost on. Even on, say, the shady side of the row. Whereas when you look at the garlic, I mean, obviously that side is becoming frost-free as the sun comes up. This side is very heavily frosted. In the tunnels, the far side isn't heavily frosted. Hang on, I've got to just concentrate while I stand. Oh, back up onto the path. So, yeah, I think, I don't know, can you see down into there? You can't really, can you? I'm not going to take these off to show you, because if there's 1 degree extra of warmth in there, or even half a degree, I don't want to let it out. But, okay, take my word for it. The shady sided straw isn't frosted, whereas the shady sided straw of the garlic is really quite heavily frosted. Oh, it's pretty. It's so pretty. But it is weird for this time of year. I know there's probably loads of you thinking, my garden's been under 3 feet of snow for months already. Yeah, remember that I'm just referencing what's normal for me. Okay, over here, these... Oh, I've got a head of broccoli I can have away. They're all looking a bit perkier. This is just a mix of... There's some broccoli, there's some kale of various types. They can start picking soon, but I'm definitely going to have that head of broccoli away. More dead nasturtiums. But amongst them, down there, a few there, a couple down here, I've got the last of my beetroots. So, I'm going to have to ration them now, because I really have been loving the beet burgers. If you didn't see, I'll put that recipe on the end of this video, so if you haven't seen it, do have a look, because honestly it's so easy and so tasty and so cheap and so nutritious. Yay! More covered beds. This one wasn't, but I managed to find some more cardboard, so bless him. Sunny spot. Yeah, I did manage to find some more cardboard the other day. Fabulous. Look at the difference though. I mean, this is something to bear in mind in your own gardens. There's a slight there's a slight hump to the bed, obviously, where over the years I've added organic matter, cropped and dropped, what have you. You see how the frost has melted from this side, not from this side, just that little bit extra shade, and it's still frosty. So yeah, when I say it's something to think about, it's that thing of, if you're planning to have a winter garden, if you're planning to continue to grow things over the winter, do think about, will things be in shade? So for instance, where I've got that bed, my first bed there, it's not the ideal place for putting winter veg, and I completely forgot about it. Just because my neighbours they've got a couple of trees, now they're not in leaf, and also this big insect house, and it casts shadow, so they are out of the sun a bit more than I would want them to be. So, you know, for future years I think, okay, don't put anything in bed 1A, start in bed 1B and then do 1C instead. Ooh, gosh, it is chilly air. Now, this is my little slight disaster. I haven't got all my main crop spods out. I've had a couple of plants out. I had intended a few days ago to get the rest of them up. My back wouldn't let me, so frozen spuds. I might see if I can get some out today. We'll see. Yeah, I'll give it a try. Never mind. The rest of the new potatoes came out, and again I managed to get a bit more cardboard, so that was all covered. There was no potato plant material to crop and drop, so what I did was I got a load of nasturtiums, any other sort of dying plant matter in the garden, went back to the compost bin, are there any dregs in there, and whatever I found has gone on that bed as well. That's the ex-bean bed. You can see how that's quite a bulge, isn't it? That's from cropping and dropping the beans. And I can't remember if I mentioned this, I think I did when I was doing the beans, but by the time I got them down, which was towards the end of November, normally by that time of the year all the leaves would have dropped off, they would have basically died back pretty much completely. However, because of that mild October and November, they were still a mass of leaves and green material, so great, that meant I had tons to add. Oh my goodness, that's a very, very wilty bed. So this is a mixture of, there's little clumps of chard. Have I got any spinach? No, it's clumps of chard. This is more clumps of chard, and that's all celery. They should bounce back, but in amongst them at this end you can see all this material. That was all the nasturtiums which were just rampaging away in there. So once things thaw out a bit, there'll be a little bit of tidying up to do. I'll just get all that material, you know, off the path, get it scooped up, get it onto the beds, and then it can just finish rotting on the beds in winter. Crikey, it was a hard frost. Goodness me. That's beautiful as well, isn't it? Oh man. Oh, beauty, beauty, beauty. It is alien looking, isn't it? These little frost particles. Gorgeous. Right, stop being distracted, Vivi. Oh, when I spoke earlier about I was planning to harvest, because I was planning to harvest a load of greens and leaves today, but I won't while they're so frozen, because they'll thaw out at home and turn to mush, whereas when they thaw on the plant's own kind of antifreeze bionics bring the plant back to life. So I'm going to wait to do my picking of green leaves till later when they've bounced back a bit. Oh my goodness, the calendula. There were still a few flowers hanging in there, but yeah, they're done for now. Oh, I need to spend some time grabbing seed. And then, got my fork at the ready. The parsnip, and this is parsnips and spinach. I'm going to have a parsnip out today because they've had a frosting finally. Oh, I can't wait. Right, we'll do that at the end. Let's just finish things off. But yeah, oh, I can't wait. I'm distracted now. I'm distracted by the thought of going looking for buried treasure. It's all rather empty and rather still now, isn't it? But even where, let me just show you. Oh, if I can find a way. The way the frost has just touched the top of the lavenders. Even that's pretty. This is, it's an English lavender, Munstead. Have I got Munstead or Hidcote? I can't remember now. My brain's gone blank in the cold. Either way, both those types, Munstead and Hidcote, they will cope with a bit of a frosting. They'll cope down to, you know, a few minus degrees, sort of -3 or 4. So long as it's not, what they wouldn't cope with is, say, 3 months under snow. But yeah, a bit of a frosting each night and then a defrosting in the morning. They'll manage with that, they'll cope. Oh, my insect drinking station is obviously frozen solid. I should have thought to bring down a flask of hot water to pour in. That's the thing at this time of year, isn't it, is thinking about how wildlife, how they're going to manage to get any drinking water. But yeah, otherwise it's looking all pretty empty, dying back, bare. I'm so glad I spent that day towards the end of October, I think it was, having a good sort out in here and getting all this extra mulch down. Fab. Likewise with the deck. Oh, I forgot about my pelargoniums. Well, goodness me. I thought they'd be dead as dodos. Maybe they've got just enough shelter here and I can actually, as I'm standing here talking to you, I can just feel warmth in the sun. It's beautiful. Good stuff. Those are my 2 rose cuttings that I'm going to take with me when I leave the garden. They're not that happy. Maybe I'll need to get bigger pots for them. Hey, Rosie. Have you had some nice shed time too? Yes, Vivi. Yes, thanks, Vivi. But those 2 in pots. But here on the fence, do you remember on my herb bed day? It's coming there. I tied it in to come this way, and it's looking grand. So that's got to be 4, 5, 6, heading on for sort of 7 feet tall now, obviously taking into account where it's planted down there and comes along. So you can see what a difference it makes to actually get something planted than leave it in a pot. Yeah, I must get onto that at some point soon. As in, put them into bigger pots. Oh, let's just take a moment. Let's take a moment to appreciate the calm and the still. And we can ignore the building noises. And there's low sunshine at this time of year. Oh, frosty, frosty, frosty. Frosty paths. But even on the grass, whoopla, even this, I think is beautiful. Oh, gorgeous. I want to get really close into this. Look at that. Isn't frost amazing? Right, waxing lyrical about frost when actually, this cold period isn't doing any of us any favours at home with our heating bills. So let's not talk about that today. Instead, shall we dig up a parsnip? Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, come on, let's dig up a snip. Trying to make out where they are because I've got a feeling we're in all fur coat and no knickers territory. As in a lot of foliage, but not much down there. Oh, that's a weed. Let's have the weed away. Dump that there for a minute. Oh, tiddlers. Did I put transplants on the end? Oh, do you know what? They'll do. They will do. Did I disturb any more? You know what? Yeah. Okay, that one's trying to fork, but that... Oh, that's enough to make some soup. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, shall I have one more? Oh, you know what it's like when you're starting on your buried treasure. These going to be smaller right next to the calendula. Yeah, oh, that one didn't enjoy its position. It's a stumpy dumpy forky, but there's flesh in there that'll do. You know what, that will actually do me. I'll add a spud and some curry spices, litre of stock. That'll do me for 4 portions of soup, you know, with the spud as well. Brilliant. Right, let's get these in the granny trolley and think about getting home. Oh, thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. The frosty garden. The glasses are steaming up. Gosh, isn't it beautiful? Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I won't love it when I get home and I'll be complaining about the cold again. But yes, I'm glad to get down today. Okay, I'm not going to have any leaves away this morning. I'll come back probably tomorrow, but do it much, much later in the afternoon when the plants have had time to thaw a bit and spring back to life. But I have just packed up some more lavender. The other day I thought I was going to get it home in 2 trips and I forgot I'd got more lavender hung the other side. So it's now 1, 2, 3, 4 bags, 5 bags, 6, 7. 7 bags of lavender left to get home and process. But otherwise, yay! I'm going to get home and go and make some parsnip soup for myself. I mentioned the burgers earlier, so what I'll do is for my end little cards here, I'll put up the parsnip. It's like a spicy parsnip, curried parsnip soup recipe, and the beet burgers again. Oh, happy cooking. I love winter food. I love it. It's always kind of thick and tasty, and it's the comforting stuff, isn't it? So yeah, I'm going to get I'm going home. I'm getting cold. I need to go home and cook. So thanks for hanging out with me in the frosty garden, and I will see you all again really soon, I hope, indoors. Cheerio.